La Nona Debayo. Good morning. Eric Osadalo, good morning. Yomi Jegede, good morning. Daniel Oshoma, good morning. Adeleke Adeniyi, good morning. Shegun Fatumo, good morning. Denise Atsoa Ego, good morning. Soaring Ego, actually. Joseph Kwane, good morning. Jolome White, T.Y. Moore, Davida Yemi, Rochelle White. Good morning, everyone. Olusegun Akinde, Cordelia Eme, Gladys Nshak, Bolaji Martins, Shiga Nwafo, Funmi Jeboda, T.Y., Eric Lindu. I don't know, did everybody realize that the time has changed or not? Or is it just the Europeans that know the time has changed? Obi Ojima Dut, Shi Sandra, Bose Fayajola, Ngoya Shares, Justin Mayo. It's interesting for me to know, did our friends everywhere in other continents, like in Africa and in America and Asia, did they realize that we have a new timing? Because I heard that some people were looking for me in the morning and searching for me at the normal time. That was an hour ago. And they don't realize that it's now that we are coming out because of the change in time. Because of the change in time. So let's quickly go and announce it to our friends everywhere. I would like to invite every one of you, or challenge every one of you to quickly go now to your if it would be good if you could quickly go to your timeline, come out of here, go to your timeline and write something or do a quick video or do something to let people know that Pastor Sunday is on now. So I will wait for the next 2 minutes or 3 minutes before I begin to speak. So I will not start. So if you could quickly go and write something, or maybe you should share the link right now and write a remark and write a comment there so that all the people who don't know that because of the time change, I'm now coming on, so that they would know that it is now that Pastor Sunday is coming on, that Pastor Sunday is on now. So I would like to encourage you people to help me do that. So help me go and invite everybody. Okay, Cordelia says, I got a bit confused. I did not realize your time changed as ours in the UK. You see, so not just people in Africa or America are confused, even people in UK are confused. Oh, look who came today. Look who came to see us. Nkem DK. Wow, what a surprise. We thought you have forgotten about us. We thought you have forgotten about us, DK. Nkem. You have been missing so much valuable information, DK. Nkem. You have been missing so much valuable information. I cannot even begin to tell you. Oh, so it's 8:30 now in Nigeria, right? It used to be 7:30, so it's 8:30 actually in Nigeria. Oh, okay. So I thought it was going to be 6:30 in Nigeria, but it's actually 8:30. Then I made a mistake because the announcement I made to them was that I was going to be coming out 6:30, but it's actually 8:30. Oh, sorry for that. I don't know how we can get the Nigerians back now. I think what we could do to get the Nigerians back and to go and bring them back. Nkem, you say you have been listening on my blog, but on my blog, I don't think you have this week yet. So this week is what every girl must listen to. And this week is what you must listen to. I'm not sure this week. I think this week messages will only come from today or so. So, Nkem, you ask the girls. You ask the girls. The girls will let you know what you have been missing. Okay, so Europe now has the same time as Nigeria. I see. Oh, Olukayode said he got confused and has been searching since 6:30 a.m. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I mean, this time changes and everything is just incredible. It's just crazy. Well, I hope you guys have gone to invite all your friends, and I hope you've gone to also write something. Please, as soon as you have done that, or if you have done that, then we'll be ready to start, because today is the end. Today is the end of the first series, I would say, the first part of talking to men about women. Talking to men about women, today is going to be the end of it, the end of that part. So, I'm feeling so much responsibility for today's message. Today's message is so important that I really need God's help to help me to communicate to this message. Okay. The message of today is why every woman needs to be treated like a princess. Why every single woman needs to be treated like a princess. Why every woman needs to be treated like a princess. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I spoke to you on a similar topic, which was the continuation. This is the continuation of that topic, which I did not finish yesterday. And yesterday's topic was why all brides dress like a princess. That was yesterday's message, why all brides dress like a princess. And I'm sure that anybody who missed yesterday morning's message, they have missed something in their life. They might not be able to go and find, unless they go and listen to that again. You might not be able to listen to such a message again in your life. But today is the continuation of yesterday's message. Yesterday was why all brides dress like a princess. But today's message is why every woman needs to be treated like a princess. Yesterday I made the point that every woman and every bride dresses like a princess, not because it's a ceremony and not because it's a tradition. Even though that is the understanding that we now have, but that is not the authentic, original understanding of why women dress that way. Why does every woman dress like a princess on a wedding day? It's not just because it is tradition or it is the story of Cinderella, that every woman wants to be a Cinderella. Yeah, but I want to say that those stories of Cinderella or the knight or the Prince Wonderful or Prince whatever, that the Prince Charming, that all those stories, all those folklore, all those fairy tales come from what already existed. And what already existed is the fact that women by themselves were created to be princesses. Women were created inside them. It is their nature to be beautiful, to be delicate, to be fragile. It is in the nature of the woman to be loved. It is natural for the woman to be loved. Every woman not just must be treated as a princess. Every woman deserves to be treated as a princess because that is who she is. We are not supposed to be treating a woman like a princess to make her become a princess. Or we are not the ones who will make her feel like a princess. Every woman, even unknowingly, even in our subconscious mind, is already a princess. That is why your little girls, if you've ever had a girl in your family, if a girl had ever grown up in your home or in your family, or you've ever seen a young girl growing up, you will discover that even when she's not being taught about the formula of beauty, when she's not being taught anything about fashion, when she's not being taught even that she's a girl, she doesn't even know yet that she's a girl, but she's already behaving differently because the nature of a princess is already in her. God created her to be that princess. She is already a princess inside. So she's already behaving accordingly. She's already behaving accordingly because that is who she's made to be. So therefore, treat a girl separate, different from who she is to abuse her. To therefore treat a girl without honor is to break her. To therefore treat a girl without being delicate with her, without fragility, without being fragile with her, is to destroy that girl. To treat a girl roughly is to abuse her. Either it is roughly, psychologically, morally, physically. It's not our nature to be roughened. It's not in our nature to be abused. It's not natural for a girl to be mistreated. The reason the Bible tells us that a woman is the weaker vessel is because it's a literary example. That a woman is like a vessel. A woman is something perishable, damageable. A woman is something fragile, delicate. A woman could be broken. A woman could be damaged. God knows this. And that's why Jesus would not allow that woman to be damaged, even if she has done wrong. That woman that was caught in adultery, the Lord Jesus would not allow her to be damaged. The Lord Jesus would not allow her to be abused. The Lord Jesus would not permit her to be ruined. Because she's already damaged by her sin. She's already damaged by her fault and her guilt. And he will not allow any man to add to that. The role of man is supposed to be different. The role and the function of man in relations to a woman must be the opposite. So when Jesus saw that the men who are supposed to be covering the lady, the men who are supposed to be protecting and defending the girl, They were rather the ones abusing her. They were rather the ones carrying stones. They were rather the ones carrying weapons to destroy her. The people that God had empowered, the people that God had given the strength to protect, to watch over the girl, they were the ones who were coming with stones to destroy her, to kill her, to stone her to death. Even though Jesus knew she was wrong, even though Jesus saw her fault, even though Jesus was aware of her sin, and he was not disputing that with them. He did not argue that she had sinned. He did not argue that she committed the sin. But no human being has the right to break a woman, to shame a woman, to disgrace a woman, especially when you are a man. So instead of Jesus backing these people, these Pharisees, instead of Jesus joining them, colliding with them to blame the girl, to condemn the girl, and to make her feel more shame, Jesus decided to do the opposite. Jesus came between the Pharisees and the accused lady. Jesus stood between the accusers and the victim. Jesus decided to take on himself the challenge of every girl in the world. That's why women must be in love with Jesus. That's why every woman must be in love with Jesus. That's why every woman must be in love with Jesus. Jesus deserves to be loved by every girl, because Jesus decided to stand between the whole wide world that is so aggressive against the baby girl, that is so aggressive against the lady, that is so aggressive, that wants to destroy, and the aggressive men, the chauvinistic world. People say this is a men's world, and Jesus stood against that men's world in protection of the girl. And Jesus, risks being condemned. Jesus risks being damaged and his reputation being raised. So many men today are afraid for their reputation. So many men today will not speak up for the girl. So many men today will not speak up for the woman. So many men today will not stand up for the woman because they are afraid for their reputation. Jesus could have been afraid of his reputation. He could have been afraid, saying that they would not recognize him as a prophet anymore. They would not say he's a holy man anymore. But Jesus' dignity was in aligning himself with the truth of God. The truth of God was more important to him than the opinions of men. And unfortunately, there are so many men today that are afraid of what their churches will say, what their pastors will say, what their congregation will say, what the public opinion will say. And so they will not even stand for their own wives. Many men today will not even stand for their own daughters. They will not even stand to speak out to defend the integrity of their own family, because they are afraid of what other men will say. They are not even as men enough to defend the integrity of the ladies, of the women that they have in their lives, who are pious, who are holy, who are righteous, who are not sinners. But here comes Jesus, standing for the integrity of the girl, of the woman that is not at all a family member, that is not his wife, that is not his daughter, that was not his relative, that is not having anything to do with. And more than besides that, today men will not even stand up to defend their holy sisters or wives or daughters or pious women, righteous women, even well-behaved women. But here comes Jesus, face to face with the whole world, not just to defend the good woman, not just to defend the righteous woman, not just to defend the pious woman. He was there ready to risk his reputation. Oh, for a lady that is supposed to be promiscuous, for a lady that is supposed to be sinful, for a girl that is supposed to be unrighteous. But Jesus had so much understanding that Men are supposed to stand for women no matter what, even if they are guilty or they are not guilty, even if they are sinful or they are not sinful, even if they are, they are at fault or they are not at fault. Jesus knows one principle, and the principle is that woman must be protected. Woman must be protected against all the storms and the attacks of this world. He knows what other men have not come to realization up to today. He knows the fact that women are only a weak vessel. Even when they shout at us, even when they try to raise their voices, even when they, come up with hysteria, and when they become hysterical, and when they, they are capricious, or when they, no matter what they are doing, it's an attempt to call our attention to them, that we should pay attention to them, that we should begin to defend them. It's their attempt to cry out to us. It's an attempt by the girls, by the ladies, for us to hear them out. And Jesus knew that this girl's primary need is to have a father, is to have a man that will be there for her, stand for her, and protect her. And Jesus knew that probably the reason why she became promiscuous, probably the reason why she went prostituting, probably the reason why she went with other men is because of lack of men in her life. Because there was no worthy man, there was no deserving man, there was no man to have protected her, there was no man to have covered her, there was no man to have treated her like a princess. Jesus saw deeper than what other men were saying. Other men were saying that promiscuity. Other men were saying that weaknesses. Other men were saying that failure. Other men were saying that imperfection. Jesus. Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus was saying something else. Jesus was seeing a vulnerability. Jesus was seeing an insecurity. Oh, Jesus was looking deeper into her. And Jesus was seeing the in-depth need of that girl. Jesus was seeing the fact that this girl needs protection. Jesus was seeing down inside that this girl needs cover. She needs covering. This girl needs to be protected, to be cared for, she needs a father figure, somebody that will be there for her, somebody that will just protect her. So Jesus risked it all. Jesus risked everything. He risked it all and stood between the whole wide world, the aggressive world, the attacking world, the suppressing world, the damaging, destructive world. Jesus stood all against them and stood on the side of the girl. He stood on the side of the woman, even though the woman was at fault, even though the woman was guilty. They were asking him that if he was a prophet, if he were a prophet, if he was to be a true prophet, that he was God to condemn. They thought that the sign of being true prophet for Jesus would have been to condemn the sinner. Jesus showed us another face of God, that the sign of a true prophet is not to condemn, but the sign of a true prophet is to have mercy. Jesus showed us the picture of God the Father, that God the Father is not sitting down in heaven with some tall, long stick, looking for who to condemn and looking for who to hit in the head. That Jesus showed us that God the Father is sitting in heaven, stretching out his arms and looking for who to embrace with the embrace of love and mercy. And that's what Jesus demonstrated and showed to us. So they were ready to stone this lady. They were ready to damage her even further. They were ready not just to damage her psychologically. They were ready not just to damage her mentally. They were ready to destroy her and damage her physically. And Jesus knew she already suffered enough damage, because that is not the destiny of a girl. If a woman is never to be damaged. A woman is never to be abused. Either it's psychological abuse, either it's mental abuse, either it's moral abuse. A lady is not supposed to be ever damaged, either psychologically, either morally, or either spiritually, or either, anyhow, either physically or sexually. A woman is never supposed to be attacked or damaged. So a woman must always be honored. Why? She's that vessel. She's a weak vessel. Treat her like a weak vessel. I'm going to illustrate something to you that I illustrated to you yesterday. Come. So a woman, a woman is like a vessel, and when I want to receive it, I must make sure I'm protective of her. Make sure that I'm watching. I'm really careful. I'm guiding, I'm protecting her. Take it easy, take it easy. Yeah. This is how to treat a vessel. A vessel with so much care, with so much attention, with so much protectiveness, with so much protection, with so much covering. A woman must always be protected like that. Not just physically. I'm not talking about physical, handling now. I'm talking about our attitude to her person, to her inside, to her inner man. Because God created with the woman to be tender. God created the woman to be soft. God created the woman to be weak. God created the woman to be fragile. God created the woman to be vulnerable. It is not a weakness as such. It is just a nature. That is why every woman deserves, let me say. Let me first of all explain to you once again what I'd tried to explain one of the days to you, that a woman must be treated with like a princess. I'm saying here, why every woman needs to be treated like a princess. A woman needs to be treated like a princess because that's who she is. She is created to be a princess in the world. She is created to be different from men. Men are the hunters, men are the warriors, men are the ruffians, men are the laborers, men are the tough guys, are the warriors, and are the adventurers. But we cannot just all be the same. So God needs to package something to bring a balance and some kind of healing to the world, and to bring a kind of comfort to the men as well. So the reason why God created the ladies to be like this was because of us too. We need them to be fragile. We don't need people who will be fighting with us morning to night. We need them to be soft. We don't need bones to be eating bone. We need them to be delicate. We need them to be like that, because that's where the balance is. In life we have hot and we have cold. We have white and we have black. It is in contrast of life. It is in the contrast of creation that we see the wisdom of God manifested. But this is not just a logical explanation I'm giving you. Even the composition of the girl. And you need to hear this, please. I want everybody to listen to this. You must get this. And I'm going to show you this picture again. Please help me take the picture here. Okay. You help me hold it this way. Faccio bella vigna. Vedi che luce vigna body. Okay. All right. Now, I've shown you this already. That this is yellow, this is red, this is green, this is purple. Now, let's say this is the body of the man, yellow. The red is the heart of the man, let's say. The green is the feelings and the emotions of the man. Let's say the purple is the mind of the man, the head. So these are all separate in the man, so that man could be a warrior, so that man could be able to go to war, man could be rough, man could be an adventurer, man could always put his mind to work without his emotions stopping him. So that man could be able to take decisions without his feelings interfering with them. So that man could use his body to go and work, and not his emotion will not stop his body from working. So that man could put his heart into doing something and his head will not stop him. So that when he's doing something with his heart, so that his emotions will not get on the way. God made man to have all these vital elements of the person to be separate. You know, his body is separate from his heart. His heart is separate from his emotions and feelings. His emotions and feelings separate from his mind. And the reason for that is for man to be able to be able to function as the need arise. So the man is not so romantic. The man doesn't need selfness. So the only reason that will make a man to have feelings is if he gives permission. You see, it's different. The gap is there. So for anything to happen, for the man to, for example, if the man looks at a woman, let's say he is in the body, he looks at a woman and he sees her, he needs to give in his mind the permission for the mind to begin to fall in love with that woman. Even though his body might be sleeping with the woman, his body might desire the woman, and that's why a man can have many women, and a man can sleep with a woman and not love her, because it is not connected to the man. It is not automatically connected. But when he takes his decision, or he gives his mind the permission, that is when he begins to feel love on the mind. He begins to think about the woman, and he has to give his feelings and his emotions the permission as well. He has to open his heart. So you've got to open your heart to be affected by what is happening. That is why, when a tragedy happens, a man might not be crying or weeping, but the woman is always crying. But he could also cry, but he has to give himself the permission to do it. So everything is separate. It is because God needed the man to be the head, and God needed the man to be the provider. God needed the man to be the cover and the protection for the woman. So the man is created differently and separate like this to be able to run the world and to be able to help the woman rather manage the more soft side of life. But for the woman, see, the body is the yellow, the red is the heart, the green is also the feelings and the emotions, and then the mind is the purple. See, everything is all intertwined. Everything is intertwined. What this means is that for women, things don't happen in compartments. Things don't happen in departments, in separation. So if you tell a woman that she's ugly, she's not just hearing that in her mind. She's feeling that everywhere. The diffusion is so strong. Anything that happens to her, if you cause her, she needs to be protected so that only good things will come into her. And only good feelings, only only positive things. Anything that is negative is destructive to her. So when they brought the woman to Jesus, they wanted Jesus to to hurt her, to condemn her. But Jesus knew the state of the mind, that the woman is already so damaged. She's so sensitive. So that's why anything is very sensitive to the lady. Everything is sensitive to her. So because of her nature, thank you. Because of her nature, the only thing that the lady deserves is gentleness. The only thing the lady deserves is fragile attitude, delicate attitude. She is so sensitive in everything. That's why she has to be protected and treated like a princess. Now, how do you treat a woman like a princess? How do you treat a woman like a princess? One, you must make sure that you show care. You must handle her with care. You must handle her with care, attention, care. That is emotionally, that is psychologically, that is not just physically, but that is in attitude. We must be gentle with her. We must relate to her, never harsh. Never be harsh with the girl, but gentle. The girl needs care. That's one way to treat her as a princess. She needs it. It's not because she wants it. And men sometimes think that it is just my wife that is like that. She's capricious. My wife is just capricious. It's not about your wife. It could be your daughter. It could be your mother. Every girl needs this kind of attention. She needs to be handled with care, emotionally, psychologically, and maybe physically, but especially emotionally and psychologically. Number one, that's how you treat her like a princess. Number two, you need to show tenderness towards her. You need to be tender towards her. In your voice, that's why if you have related to a woman before, a man might be thinking that he's talking normally to her, and your voice is normal, and she's saying, why are you shouting at me? Why are you screaming at me? And you said, I'm not screaming at you. I didn't shout. When did I shout? And because everything that she hears, you see that picture, everything is multiplied. Everything is diffused in her body, soul. Everything is messed up. She's all overwhelmed with that feeling. So she needs to be tenderly treated. But on the other hand, every positive thing you do for her also is also magnified like that. So that's why if you treat a woman with dignity, with love, with care, she treats you better. She gives you even better things. She even does better things to you. So if you give a woman one thing, she will give you 10 things back, because she is magnified in her interpretation of what you have just done to her. So, and a lady must be treated with fondness as well. You've got to, tell her that you are fond of her. You've got to let her know, if either she's your daughter, or she's your mother, or she's your sister, or she's your wife, she has to always feel your fondness. Not fondness only when you say it, but in your everyday attitude, in your everyday reaction to her, in your everyday interaction with her. Let me show you one picture. I'm going to show you an illustration that will help us to understand this better. Help us to understand this better. So, someone come here and help me. Help me hold this. Can you see this? No, this should be like. Can you see this picture here? Now, you see the man here. He's a slim guy, ugly, slim, ugly, horrible looking guy, horrible looking guy. Now, look at the thin legs, like spaghetti kind of legs. Look at the spine, the body is just totally, he has not gone to the gym in ages. But see the way he's looking at himself? A man normally has positive or inflated self-image about himself. A man is always having, a man doesn't suffer too much from low self esteem. It's rather, it's like this in reality, but look what he's saying. He's good about himself. So it doesn't matter what you tell a man, he just thinks it's your problem. But look at the girl. Look at the girl. How slim the girl is. Look at how beautiful she is. But she looks at the mirror and she's crying. And she's depressed. Why is she depressed? Why is she crying? Because she's thinking she's ugly. She's thinking she's too fat. She's thinking her legs are too big. She's thinking her face are too puffy. She's thinking her backside is totally ugly. She's thinking she's just horrible. Because women have the tendency of magnifying the negative things. So women have the tendency of magnifying the negative things, the little negative things in them. So if you now are telling your wife, oh, you are not going to the gym. When was the last time you were in the gym? You are killing her. You are just killing her. You are an abuser. You are just abusing her right there. Or if you are telling your wife, oh, you are fat. Look at yourself. This is not the way I met you. It's such a betrayal. It's that you are betraying her emotionally. Or if you tell a girl she's not beautiful, what you are saying as not beautiful in her own eye is going to be magnified as 100 times more. Maybe you are just saying just a little thing, it's not a big thing, but in her own eyes, she is going to see it 100 times worse. So that is why the only attitude that is acceptable to the girl is the attitude of honor, is the attitude of tenderness, is the attitude of fondness. You've got to let her know all the time, several times a day. That is why a girl is always asking, do you love me? Do you love me? Every day. She wants to know, especially if she's your wife. Do you love me? Do you still love me? Because she wants that reassurance. Because she is already making herself worse. She is already, condemning herself. Even the things that are not there, she's already finding them. She's already nailing herself to the cross. But if you are a man, the reason why you are there in her life is to be able to give her that protection, is to be able to give her that covering, is to be able to give her that reassurance, and it must be constant. That reassurance is what makes her to gain her confidence, to regain a belief in herself, to really believe that she is normal. And so that's part of treating a woman like a woman. That's why I said every woman needs to be treated like a princess. And it's not just, it's because she wants it. It's a need. It's a need. It is not a desire, but a need. She needs it. She needs it to function. She needs it to be normal. She needs it to be happy. She needs it. It is a composition tells us that she needs it. The picture that I showed to you shows you that everything is mixed up in her. Everything that goes to her is magnified and it messes up her thoughts, it messes up her emotions, it messes up her feelings, it messes up her body, it messes up, paralyzes her heart, it messes up her mind, her heart, everything just affects her. So a woman must be treated only as a princess. So the reason why she dresses as a princess on her wedding day, it's not just for the wedding day. It's not just for the tradition. It's not just because of the fairy tales. It's not just because of the Prince Charming. It's because that is our greatest heart desire. That is the greatest need of a girl. That is the greatest need of a woman. That is the greatest desire that she has, that she will always be treated like a princess, that she will always be held with fragility, that she will always be treated with tenderness, that she will always be treated with honor, that that man that is taking her as the wife that is going to live with her for the rest of her life, that he will always be tender towards her, that we will always be fondling toward her, that we will always reassure her of his love, of his tenderness, of his care, of his protection, of his covering, that he will always make her feel like that princess. And that is why she agrees to live the rest of her life with him. Another thing that the girl will need, apart from the fondness, apart from the care and the tenderness, every girl will need the man sometimes, because different things happen to the girl. In fact, there are so many things happening in her mind at the same time that we are not even considering, we are not even entertaining, we cannot even imagine that things are going on in her mind. But a lot of things are going on in her mind, and they are not always positive. So the person that is around her needs to be creating those positive impulses into her and directing them towards her. And that is why a girl needs not just fondness to tell her you are fond of her, but she needs fondling. Now, fondness is to let her know how, you care for her and you love her and, you all that. But not just when you want to make love to her. Because, the problem of men is that men don't always know these things that I'm talking about. So when a woman shows a sign of weakness, or when a woman shows that she needs the man, or she needs man's attention, men always thinks, oh, she wants me to sleep with her. That's a pity. I'm so sorry. That's a pity. It's a shame. It's a shame, really. And the reason it's a shame is because men are not taught. We are not taught otherwise. Because men are totally different. The only way men understand love and care and others, men don't need a lot of those fondness, tenderness, care. In fact, they see those things as a sign of weakness. So the only sign of love that a man really needs is sex. And that's why they only express love through sex. So women, you shouldn't be too hard on your husbands as well and on the men. Why are they so thinking about sex all the time? Because that is the only language, love language they know. That's the only way they express their own love. So, but the girl, expresses love and understands love as care. The girl needs love and understands love as tenderness. The girl or the lady needs love and understands love as fondness. And even more than that, the girl sometimes need fondling. Sometimes the girl will come and hug you innocently. The girl needs some hug sometimes. Why does she need the hugging? That is called fondling her or embracing her. Just to give, she needs it only for comfort. She needs that for comfort. And the reason why she needs fondling for comfort is because she needs peace, she needs comfort, or she feels loved, but she doesn't need sex at that time. It could eventually lead to sex, but unfortunately, men think when she needs fondling and she's coming to be embraced or to be touched or to be hugged, that we need to take her to bed. Now, the way ladies agree to do it because they know this is probably what the man needs and they are doing it for the man, but that is not what they need at that time. That time when they need, when they want to hug you or they want to hold you or they want you to hug them, they just need you to caress their head or to fondle them or to just spend time with them, to listen to them. They just need some reassurance at that time. They just need some healing. There are some processes going on in them that we might not be aware of, that they just needed that reassurance. They needed that acceptance. They needed that that care, that comfort, that support. But we immediately want to take. That's a mistake. So apart from fondling, another thing that the lady needs is caressing. We men cannot even understand, why do you need caressing? I mean, especially as women, our mothers try to come to us and begin to caress us and begin to do that. Men are always irritated by that. I say, what are you doing? Because that is what they need. That is what they need. the ladies need caressing sometimes. Especially when she's relaxed, or it depends on her mood. A woman could be in the mood just for you to caress her, because there are some things going on inside of her that you and I might not be aware of, even she might not be aware of, because whatever happened to her body or to her mind or to any part of her body is affecting all her body, right? All her life. So she might not even know what is happening, but she just knows that she has a need for that. You see, these are all the reasons why every lady must be treated like a princess, must be treated like a princess. They have a much more complex, in my own, in my trainings that I do, teachings and seminars for families, and I have family seminars. I mean, we call them retreats, and men's retreats and women retreats. What I discover is that men don't even know that women find life more difficult than the men. We normally would think that the men are the ones who have a hard life, but no, it's not true. Hard life belongs to the women. Women have a complex life, much more complex than we can imagine, much more complex than us. They have a much more complex life, and they need our support. We need to always be there for them and treat them with care and gentleness. Please, can you come? Show them this place. Now, can you see this? This is a picture of man. This is a man here. Another character. Okay, this is man. Man only has something going on only one thing going on at a time. In him all the time. You see, only one button is here. Only one switch. Only one thing is going on in the mind of the man at a time. One thing. So a man doesn't have anything. Everything is just okay for him. Maybe he's thinking about one thing, one subject. But at any given moment, see how many processes are going on in the woman. All these things are going on in the woman. Any button could be pressed. So she's so complex. So that's why, and most of these things are not positive. Some of them, a lot of them are negative. So that's why she's always in need of reassurance. She's always in need of that care. She's always in need of love. She's always in need of protection. Because he doesn't have so many concerns. The reason why God removed all the concerns from him is because he should be able to pay attention to her and care for her and cover for her. And let me show you another thing that might be able to help us understand women better. Yeah, well, I think I'm making the point. Yeah. So many things to talk about, really. So many things to talk about. So many things to talk about. But the bottom line is that we should care for the girl. We should care for the ladies. We should watch out for them, look out for them, and we should protect them. We should be a father to them. We should be a friend to them, be a husband to them, and treat them like a princess. And treat them like a princess. Treat your girl like a princess. Let me see if I could still share some more things with you on how to treat the girl like a princess. Why every girl needs to be treated like a princess. Okay. So because of the nature of the girl, because of the way the girl is made, complicated, I should say, very complicated. Their life is complicated. They feel pain everywhere. They feel concerned. They are so troubled and they have challenges all the time. That's why we men are supposed to be there for them, treat them like a princess. It's not because they are, they are trying to be hard or difficult. They are made to make our lives softer. I mean, the reason why we fall in love with them is because of that, their tenderness. The reason why we love what we see and we marry them is because they are attractive. So we need to keep them attractive. We need to keep them loving. We need to keep them soft. We need to keep them tidy, neat, clean, beautiful. We need to keep them tender. We need to, keep them loving. And for them to begin to be like that all the time, we must make sure that we care for them. Now, since today is the last day of my teaching for the men, I'm going to say some very hard things that I think most men will not agree with, and I think will make men to go against me. The Bible talked about the days of the ignorance. The days of ignorance, he said it has passed. So let's forget about the days of ignorance. So this message that I'm giving now, I'm not giving to those who are already married. Although if you're already married, you could still try your best to apply some of these principles. But if I'm to advise my son, and my son who is 18, he already knows this. And my daughters already know this also. So if I'm to advise people who are not married yet, I want to say this to the men. I'm talking to the men now who are not married, and I think the women will agree with me. But these things are hard, and these things are going to make some men angry, but it's going to make some of them happy. But I think this is just the truth, and I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. Men should not rush to marry. You should not even look on the side of to the side of the woman. You shouldn't even look on a girl or to a direction if you are not married to cushion a life for her. If you are not married, if you are not ready to make life easy for her, if you are not married to really be protection for her, if you are not married to be if you are not ready to be a covering for her, if you are not married to be, if you are not ready to be a covering and a protection for her, if you are not ready to be a father to her, please don't go to her. And what do I mean by that? Before a man approaches a woman, make sure as a man that I am ready to provide everything for this girl that she already has, nothing less. Number two, I am ready to give her everything that her parents are giving her right now. Love, care, attention, protection, even provisions. That she would not feel herself worse after marrying me than whatever status she is right now. That does not always mean material things, but in attention, in love, in protection, and in care, most of all, and also in material provision as well. That's number one. Number two, please don't approach a girl. Don't even approach her in the hope that you will rely on both your salary and a salary to provide for the things that both of you will need. This is my advice for my son, and this is the advice I will give to any woman, any young man that wants to marry. Don't even approach her if you don't have enough money to take care of your needs and her needs. You must assume as if she will never work, or she is not working and she will never work. And the reason why you are approaching her is because you know that you are able to take care of two people. That's why you want to marry, and that's why you want to marry her. So that is another thing. That is another thing. Make sure that you are self-sufficient, but self-sufficient enough to also take care of her. You are asking her to come follow you and marry you. That's number two. Number three, Don't approach a girl. Don't go to a girl if you cannot provide comfort for her. Comfort, security, and stability. Comfort, security, 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 stability. If you are not ready to provide comfort, what do I mean? I personally, it depends on what country you are living in, right? But I personally believe I don't have the right, or my son doesn't have the right to marry a girl without having a car if you are in a developing country. But if you are in the Western country, I think that you should not approach that girl if you only have one car. If you are in a developed country where cars are a necessity, not a need, I mean, where they are a need, not a want, but a need, I will advise you to have money to have two cars. When maybe before you marry, you have one. But when you are getting married, if she doesn't have her own car, make sure you get her the second car as soon as she will be married. At worst, if you cannot get her a car when she marries you, or at the time she marries, get her a car by the time she's pregnant or before she's pregnant. Or at least, at the very worst, get her a car before she gets a baby. You don't want to see your wife going to take public bus 8 months pregnancy or 9 months pregnancy, and everybody is pushing over there, and they are both from the back and the front. You don't want that to happen. And you don't want to go and collect your wife from the hospital with your baby in public transport or in a taxi. You don't want to happen. That want to happen as well. So I'm giving you an ideal picture. Now, I know some people will say, what about if some places, what about this, what about this? There might be a lot of whatabouts. But I'm giving you the ideal picture and the ideal way it's supposed to be. To treat her like a princess means to really make her feel like a princess. That's number one. I don't know what number I get. The next point, don't marry a girl and don't even plan to approach her if you have already not planned out ways and means by which you will. This is more difficult for people in the West, but for people in Africa and in other developing countries, I think you should think about that. But even in the West, I personally, for me, I will make provision for this. If your wife is going to be working, do anything you need to do to set her free from all the mundane domestic works. If she's working, get some help for her. I know they don't have house helps in the West, but the way we did it here is you could actually do that in the West too. We came together 3 families when I couldn't afford it myself. So we came together 3 families. We decided to pay, let's say 1,000 each for one woman who is a good cook and also could take care of the house. She's a, maybe 50-year-old woman that, that was her passion. She likes to cook, to make. That was her own business. So what we do is that she will work 6 days a week. So we will pay, it was not $1,000, but I'm just saying like that. But at that time it was, anyway, doesn't matter. So our family will pay $1,000 to this lady. Then 2 other families, they will pay $1,000 each. So the lady will be making $3,000 a month, all right? And, but she will come 2 times a week to my house. So 2 times a week, she will come and cook for 3 days and for another 3 days. Then the last 4 days, the last day, one day my wife cooks, because she likes to do that at times sometimes. So 2 times a week she comes, she cleans the house, puts the house in order, cleans and makes everything neat, makes information so that my wife, even though my wife was not working, but she will not have the burden and the stress. Sometimes the own work, the domestic work for the woman is a full-time job. Sometimes it might even be worse than than going to full-time work sometimes. The same thing when it comes to garden. If you have a house and make provision to get somebody to always come and take care of electricity needs, or the utensils needs, or the garden, or the grass, or the lawn, or the mechanical needs, and get somebody to take care of that. If you know you can do it yourself, do it yourself. But if you cannot do it yourself, make sure that you have the money or the provision. It doesn't have to be, okay, maybe you are in a country where the money is not so high. We started by paying $100 each. Every family paid $100 and we can afford it. So what am I trying to say? For you to make your girl or your wife feel as if she's coming to your family as a princess and she's treated with honor, think ahead for her. Protect her from all unnecessary stresses and unnecessary work and occupation and all kind of duties that are not really necessarily she has to do by herself. And that is why a lot of women are always asking their their husband to help them out in the house. And they want you to do, because it is killing. It is a big work for the ladies. But if you are going to have children, personally, I don't believe that any family, you should begin to have especially if you are a responsible man, I don't believe that you should begin to have children. When it's time for you to begin to have children, make sure that you do anything you could do to have a support for her. Please don't let that girl, having gone through 9 months of pregnancy, don't you ever leave her alone by herself after she's given birth. Don't leave her by herself. Don't leave her alone to raise up that baby. Especially if she's having second baby or third child or second child and she's alone, and you. When my wife was pregnant, before she was pregnant, we had a help who will come and go, like I said. But once she was pregnant, we took a full-time help. Full-time help to help her while she was pregnant. Because then when she gave birth, we started having 2 helpers and a driver. If you don't want life, a marriage life, to be a slave yard and a slavery and a slave camp to your wife, if you don't want her life to become mystery, if your dream is to give her the best of life, if your dream is to treat her like a princess, if your dream is for her to remain princess even after she's married you, listen to my advice. If you don't care, if you only care about yourself, if you want to compare your life to the life of your mother, your father, and your grandparents, they survived, they did, and good for you. But if you really want your son to grow up to be a responsible son to the woman, and if you want your sons to treat your women, your daughters, with dignity in the future, tell them everything. Tell them the truth. Let them be rather well prepared. Let youngsters, teenagers, get to know this information from when they are 15. My son had known this information since he was 14. 14, 15, 16, 17. That's why now he's 18. He's not even thinking about dating. He has his own dream. He's got to get a house. He's got to get a car. He's got to have some amount of salary before and he's not going to be dependent on the provision, on the salary of the girl. He knows all these things since he was 14. Because really, women are made to be treated as princess. And the scripture says that as well. Let's check out the scriptures. The scripture says that as well. Bible, Holy Bible says, when is that? That is 1 Peter, yep. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7. Let me read from Amplified Version. Amplified Version. In the same way, you husbands, live with your wives with understanding. We need to have understanding. No man has the right to live with a woman without understanding her nature. No man has the right to live with a woman without understanding her composition. Live with a woman with understanding. This understanding that I'm giving and that I've provided this week is needed for you to be able to treat her with honor and dignity. So live with a woman, with your wife with understanding. That means with gentleness. This is reading the Bible. Live with her with gentleness. Live with her with tact. This is amplified, like I said, amplified. Live with your woman, with your wife, with an intelligent regard to her. Live with your wife as with somebody that is physically challenged or that is physically weaker. This is the Bible. Since she's a woman, treat her like a woman. Treat her like a weaker vessel. Then he says, show her honor. Show her honor. Show her respect as a fellow heir, H-E-I-R, as a fellow heir of the grace of God, of the grace of life, of God. She's a princess. A woman is supposed to be treated as a heir of God, as a princess of God. This is scriptural as well. Even God knows this. So that your prayers will not be hindered and ineffective. So any other treatment of a woman and of a wife, other than that of a princess, will make your prayers to be ineffective, will make your prayers to be hindered. So a woman, and your wife especially, must be treated only as a princess. No other attitude is allowed or permissible when it comes to the woman. Only the attitude of a princess. Well, let me see, what time is it, by the way? What time is it? Ooh. My time is over. My time is over. I would like to challenge you to share this link. Let's go ahead and share this link, this message, if you don't mind, because this could be a blessing. It could be a lifesaver to somebody. It could be a lifesaver to somebody. Maybe it will help somebody. Maybe it will heal some relationships. Maybe it will heal some families. Maybe it will heal some men, some women. Who knows? So, let's go share it. You have the share button under your video. You must have a share button under your video. So let's share the link and write something on it when you are sharing it. Write some remarks or some comments. And let me see what you are. Let me read some of your comments. Let me see what people are writing here. I hope the women are not ready to crucify. The men are not ready to crucify me today. The women might not be willing to crucify me. They might be happy. The women might be happy. The women might be happy. But who knows? Let me see. Daniel says, women are touchy creation. Yes, that's why God made us to fall asleep before Eve was created. Comfy says, Pastor Adelaja, you are a highly blessed and favored person. Cover you with the blood of Jesus. Thank you. TY says, the ladies understand cuddling, and that's comfort. It's a sure assurance, gentle assurance for them. She says, Pastor Sunday, you are amazing. She girl says, yes, cuddling is tender, loving care for the girl. And Fumi supports it and says she is like a shield and covering for her when she just wants to be held and caressed. Apostle Tim says, don't rob her of fondness, tenderness, and comfort. Never do this only when you want to have sex with her. Yeah, that would be burglary. That's so true. Daniel is saying it's good. It will be good for the ladies in the forum to understand the mind of men as well. This will go along with dealing with the men issue. Yes, from tomorrow morning, I'm going to be dealing with the men question. I'm going to be talking to the ladies about what they need to know about men and what they need to know before they get married. So I'm going to be talking to the ladies tomorrow about themselves. I'm going to be talking to the ladies next week. This week I was talking to the men. Next week I will be talking to the ladies. But from tomorrow night, we are going to be on the big platform, on the Dr. Sunday Adelaja platform. This platform was just this week. But next week, we are going to be on the big public page, on my public page. This is just my private page. But I'll be talking about the ladies from Monday morning. But tonight, we are going to be talking about family. We have the family of Pastor Obi and Nkiru, Nikki, Ojimadu. They will be here with me tonight, and they will be talking, about family. They have a wonderful family, and we are going to learn a lot from them. So I want to invite you back today at is it 7:30 British time or 7:30? Yeah, I don't know the time anymore. Anyway, just tonight, as usual, tonight, and then tomorrow we'll start with the ladies. Eric Osadolo said, "Thank you, sir. This message has changed my mindset and I've been transformed." Oh, that's good. Evangelist Titi Layo said, "A lot of men believe in deadly culture rather than in the God's word, whereby placing culture above God's word." Yeah, that's a pity. Shinwe says, "This gives comfort, security, and assurance." Denise says, "God made man or woman man weaker than himself, but made the angels honor him. Then he made a woman a weaker vessel than the man, and then man made to honor her." Interesting. That's very interesting, Denise. God made man weaker than himself, but made angels to honor him. Then he made a woman a weaker vessel than the man, and then made man to honor her. Interesting. Bless Indra says, "Real women make the word of men like heaven on earth if you love her truly, not the love in the Western way." Please, my brothers, listen to these words of wisdom. No sentiments there. You are an amazing and wonderful man, Pastor Sunday. May God richly bless you, my pastor. Josephine, "Pastor, thank you so much for this week's message because I've been treating my daughter so well. No shouting, etc. when they do something wrong, and they've been asking, 'Mom, are you okay?'" Because mom stopped shouting. The daughters are now asking, "Mom, are you okay?" Ngoya Sharis, "Thank you so much, Pastor. This was a brilliant session again. As for the change of time, it is still 7:30 a.m. UK time in the morning and 7 p.m. in the evening." Oh, okay. In Nigeria, it is 8:30 now, and in Europe, it is 8:30 as well, I think. Daniel says, "It doesn't matter how many times I have failed. I don't call it failure. I dust myself, take instruction, and take stock, and come back with a better result." Good. Irene Ngo said, "Pastor, what advice will you give us women who are already married to men who have no understanding of these teachings and treat their wives in the opposite way? How do we handle this?" That's what I'm going to be dealing with all next week. From Monday morning and evening, I'm going to be dealing with it every day. Shidima said, "God bless and keep increasing you in Jesus' name." Thank you. Eucharia said, "Pastor, you are too loaded with great wisdom. May God continue to protect you, sir." Thank you. J. Mark says, "Thank you, Pastor, for this wonderful life-changing message." Paul Ori Ade said, no crucifixion, sir. Jesus was crucified already for us. You are always on point. God bless you, sir. Bolaji said, the world needs to hear this message. Oladepo said, healing for men, women, home, and union. Evangelist Titilayo says, I attended a wedding ceremony yesterday and the pastor preached to the congregation by saying, your wife is your life. I believe it's absolutely correct, but a lot of men hasn't realized this, and I think that's the reason they play around and not following what God says about marriage. Davida said, Pastor Sunday's financial teachings can help in the area of finances. Yes. If you've missed my teachings, especially the financial teachings, go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com. Sundayadelajablog.com. Go to the video section and you'll be able to see all the series that you have missed. Jolomi White says, nice one, great stuff. Daniel Oshoma said, a man plowing does not look back. Life is a school. We learn and we relearn. Yep. TY says, thank you so much, Dr. Adelaja. These are priceless things for us, all men and women. We appreciate you, sir. Much love. Murunde says, thank you, sir. Very profound. Oladek was a real and raw truth from God for all men in the whole world. Denise said, this is very thought-provoking. Jeboda says, wow, my life would have been different and better with these principles implemented 20 years ago. That's so true. Gladys says, so true, sir. Not easy for us with kids and full-time job. Thank God for you, sir. I have two, but not easy at all, sir. We women need stable, secure men, sir. I am totally with you, sir. My best mentor ever. More grace, sir. You are preaching my experience, sir. Yesterday, sir, I went hard on my first daughter, 17 years old, to go listen to all this week preaching from you, sir. God bless you. Thank you. Davida says, insight is light and it chases away darkness, right? Oladepo says, if you apply everything he has been saying in taking care of a woman, I'm sure, I can assure you that you will never regret it. 100% truth. Gift says, thank God for this insight. Yes, God has good plan for us. Yep. TY say, well done, Dr. Adelaja, for raising up princes, a prince on this platform. Afolabi, I'm just thinking aloud. How can I apply all these teachings into my life, honestly? This is amazing, man. Well, go and listen to it as many times as possible and, just try to change. Pastor, a few days just after giving birth to my baby, I was asked to cook for my in-laws. This is just a few days after giving birth, after coming back from the hospital. I was asked to cook for my in-laws and do laundry, etc. So I started bleeding again. That is killing. That is just horrible. Oladepo said, if you don't get this message, you cannot get it. You could get it in Pastor Sunday's Successful Ministry. Elizabeth says, until today, Pastor, only me knew what I was going through daily. Davida says, people fall sick and quit. The burden is too much to bear. May the Lord help us. Fumi Onifade said, look after her as if she's an egg. Once broken, can never be put together again. So think and listen, my brothers. The Lord equip you with all you need. Love you all. TY said, this is life coaching 101. Oh, how I wish we had heard all this years ago. What catastrophe would have been averted. Please, guys, take advantage of this. Love you, sir. Gift says, I'm very happy for today's service here in my church online. Fumi Onifade, well spoken, sir. Yes, that's the Father's business. Shalom to all my brothers in the Lord. The Lord will help you. You guys cannot hear it better than this, sirs. The Lord blesses you all, men of valor. Forget all about it, but do it God's way. It brings peace and harmony for you and your praises. God will bless you. God will help you all. God bless you, our teacher, pastor. Oladepo says, I'm a man. Some men are wicked. That's why they struggle with everything. Apply this godly message and your struggle is over. Daniel says, Nigerian men must hear this. We abuse our women in Nigeria, calling it tradition and culture. We need to rethink the way we burden our women. John Locke said, I have to go back to drawing board and start afresh. With this teaching, my own will fly high. Thank you, and God bless you, Pastor Sunday. Daniel says, if women apply just 1% of this teaching, our marriages and family will be like heaven on earth. Just 1%. Elizabeth said, this is a massive liberation for marriages, even in the future. Davida said, this is the best teaching I've ever heard on marriage. God's blessings, Pastor Sunday. Elizabeth said, Pastor Sunday, I'm so grateful to have met you before I entered into marriage. I would have been so frustrated. Debafu said, I'm learning a great deal on this subject. I appreciate you, Dr. Adelaja. I now catch myself wondering if I am treating her right. Gift Amos, I'm really blessed with this message. Thank you so much, my mentor. Daniel said, Dr. Adelaja, you have touched some untouchable areas since I started listening to you. Things the church will never mention and things our culture forced on us. Thank you again. Adaora Emelieze, thank you so much, sir, for sharing these nuggets. Life-changing, sir. Nena says, my mentor, please permit me to talk with you one of these days. How can it be? Write to me. My email is pastor@godembassy.org. pastor@godembassy.org. Write to me and we'll make it happen. Olusegun Akinde said, thank you, Dr. Adelaja, for this deep exposition about the nature of a woman and why they needed to be treated as a princess. Shigo says, thank God my boys will know to treat women as they should. God bless you. Kiru says, I knew nothing. I mean absolutely nothing. But Dr. Adelaja and Dr. Bosse Adelaja have made me understand a lot that my marriage is just heaven on earth right now. Jolomi says, your last set of advice is the reason I'm living a solo life right now. Until the right time, I will enjoy my single life while it lasts. That is the truth. Jolomi is coming to speak the truth the way it is. And I agree with him. I agree with him. And Ogunlesi said, thank you so much. And I can begin to speak to my sons early regarding marriage. God bless you, sir. She, Sandra, says, I'm teaching my boys these principles because charity begins at home. Oladepo says, Pastor, the presence of the Lord God Almighty will never depart in your home and ministry. Thank you for this message. She, Sandra, said, African culture needs to be revolutionized. Many evil is happening all in the name of tradition. Africa needs to do away with all this dehumanizing treatment rented out on women. Pastor, I stand with you, sir. God bless you. Gift says, I thank God for everyone that is listening to this message, and I also thank God for my mentor, Dr. Adelaja. I love you so much. Daniel says, if you want to prosper in every area, in any area of your life, treat your wife nicely and be at peace with her. Once you have peace with your wife, you prosper automatically. Obi Ojimadu. Wow, I teach the young men here the same values. For those who think they can't undo their future marriage like Pastor is teaching, please, there are still spaces in the monasteries. Become a monk. Wow. Well. I think the time is over for me today. I will be back today. I will be back tonight with the Ojimadu family. Pastor Obi and Pastor Kiru will be back with us, and I'm inviting you back for tonight. That will be 7 p.m. British time. I don't know in America what time it is in America. Is it in America? What time will it be in America? Maybe it's the same time. Maybe it's 2 p.m. American time, Eastern time in America. Well, in Nigeria it will be 8 p.m. in the evening, and in Europe it will be 8 p.m. as well, and in England it will be 7 p.m. I think. In America maybe 2 p.m. or maybe not. Maybe 3 p.m. Maybe, I don't know. So anyway, have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you. We'll see you tonight. God bless.